how am I going to make a perpendicular line from this line here that has already been drawn for me? Draw a straight line down. Okay, there's a straight line down. Is that perpendicular?
Oh. No, I meant that way, straight.
But how am I going to do that? How am I going to be able to tell that it is actually perfectly straight? You guys said protractors first, so how do we use it? How do we do that with a protractor? Yeah.
Set the line up on your protractor with the line you drew.
Okay, so here, there's a line on your protractor. That needs to be perfectly in line with the line that I drew. Okay, good?
And then you look at the 90-degree point and you put a dot there.
Okay, so there's where 90 degrees is, and I put a dot there.
And then you draw a line from that line to the dot.
Okay, I drew a line from that line to the dot. Is that a perpendicular line?
No.
What's the problem?
It didn't line up the center line. The center line for the. Basically, you have to line up the dot at the center of the protractor. You have to line it up with the very point you need.
Okay, so I need to make a point on here where I'm going to draw my perpendicular line so that when I line this up, I line it up with that point there, and then this point here is going to be perfectly in line with it. Then I join them up. Is that perpendicular?
Yes.
How do you know?
Does it look perpendicular?
Okay, how can you make sure? Because,
You put your protractor.
yeah.
Line your protractor up. See if it matches on the line.
So if I am measuring an angle with my protractor, I still line this straight line up. I line this part up with the center of the angle. 90 degrees is perpendicular. This indicates a 90-degree angle. What about this one? If I line this up with the center, about how many degrees is that? Yes.
85.
Why is it not 95?
Oh yeah, it is. It's not 95 because it's not over on the other side. It's acute. It's like 97. It's on the acute side. That's why it's.
Depends which angle I'm measuring. If I'm measuring this angle here, right, then this is where I start 0. And Jackson's right. I go up, and it's actually about 84, but that's kind of hard to see.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is an 84-degree angle. And someone named it. What is that as well?
Acute.
Acute, good. What's the other name for this one?
Obtuse. No, right.
Right.
Oh yeah, straight angle. Oh, now I remember this.
Okay, what about this angle? What if I want to measure this angle? Yeah.
Just do the 84, take away 180.
Okay, 84 minus 180. Well,
That's not possible.
almost. 4 minus 0 is, and 8 minus 8 is, and 0 minus 1 is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the problem with that? Oops, you can't see it, sorry. What's the problem with that?
180, take away 84.
There you go. It is important. Addition, doesn't matter which way you go. Subtraction, it really does. Multiplication, doesn't matter which way you go. Division, it really does. So what we want is 180 take away 84, which is a completely different thing. Okay, subtract for me.
96.
Okay,
Get that right.
tell me the steps that you're going through when you do that.
I just do 84.
Okay, so you do 84 plus 6 brings you to 90, and then plus 90 brings you to 180. Okay, so Braden's showing us actually something that's really good because this addition and subtraction are the same thing. Okay, in order to figure them out. In terms of like a number sentence, those mean the same thing. In one case, there's 180. That 180 can be split up into 84 and 96. You can either add 84 and 96 together and get 180, or you can take 84 away from 180 and get 96, or you can... What else can we do? There's another subtraction number idea in here. Jem?
180 minus 96.
Yeah. Oops. Okay. All dealing with the same numbers, all basically the same idea. If you don't like subtraction, switch it around, do addition. 84 plus what equals 180? Okay? So, this angle is 96. How can we check and make sure that we're right? No. Nicholas?
By checking
On the protractor. Excellent. Okay, so we check it out, and yep, there it is at 96. Okay? Are any of these lines parallel? What is a parallel line? Nicholas?
Two lines that run next to each other, but they're perfectly straight, so they will never meet.
Now, does that mean that we're going to have to extend all of our lines out to infinity and then like run from one side of the world to the other and measure them just in case they meet at some other point? Okay, how can we tell if they're perpendicular in a way that is, you know, contained within a piece of paper or at least a classroom? Yeah.
Measure like 2 points and see if they're the exact same measurement.
Okay. So if I have, and I'm going to use these lines because this is nice and easy. I'm totally cheating. Actually, it's not cheating. It's being smart. Okay, so I've used these two lines. I'm going to choose a point on either side of the lines and measure it. Okay, so I'm going to measure this, and that is 1.5 centimeters. And this is, oh, this is only 1.4 centimeters. Does that mean that they're not parallel? Olivia?
It just means that your line runs at the same angle as the other one.
Good. So what do I want to do in order to make sure I'm measuring it properly? Owen?
Make a perpendicular line.
I want to make a perpendicular line. So if I have this and I do not have a protractor, how can I make a perpendicular line? I'm hoping that some people who haven't answered yet will answer. Elliot?
You take the ruler, you line it straight, and then you do a perpendicular line.
How can I tell if it's straight? I mean, that's straight. It's just at an angle.
No, like straight, like up and down, so that when you are using a line.
Okay, so I can use one of these lines on the ruler, like the 3 here, or, since I'm measuring it, the 0, and line that up straight with this line, and that'll help me get an exact measurement. So this here is 1.4 centimeters. This here, again, I'm going to line it up, is 1.4 centimeters. So that tells me that these are parallel lines. We like to name our lines. It makes it easier to figure them out later. So when we're naming our lines, we do line AB is parallel to what? Line CD. Is it parallel to anything else? Okay, is it perpendicular to anything? Okay, line AB is perpendicular to line EF Is that it? Is it perpendicular to anything else? Jake? Okay. Tell me what else can you tell me perpendicular, parallel about our little drawing here? Sebastian? How do you know? I mean, you can look at them and see that, but how can you know that based on, without measuring anything else, but based on what we've already done? Yeah. If you have two lines that are perpendicular to the same line, they're going to be parallel. If I draw another line here that is perfectly perpendicular, remind me when I don't have this in sight, that is perfectly perpendicular to that line, then when we measure it, 1.9, 1.9, same distance apart. Okay, so these two lines are parallel. That's how we can indicate parallel. These two lines are parallel. Those two lines are parallel. Questions so far? What's the term bisector mean? Bisector. Just as an FYI, there are 29 students in this class, not one student in this class. The rest of you are going to have to do some thinking for yourselves. Sage. Yeah. Something that is bisected. Bi means two. And then sector or sected is basically parts. Equal parts, specifically. So if I have a line and I want to bisect it perpendicularly, if I want to create a perpendicular bisector, okay, and I have this line, look, isn't it lovely? I'm going to use the blue lines again. I like using the blue lines. Okay, I need to bisect that line, perpendicular bisector. What do I do? Joven. Okay. There's a line in the middle of it. Alex.
You need to measure how long the line is with the ruler and figure out what that half point is, and then draw a line through that.
Okay, so if I measure this is 9.67. I'm going to make it just a little bit longer. It's 9.8. Okay, that's easier. It's 9.8 centimeters. What's halfway between 0 and 9.8? Brandon.
Oh, 4.9.
Almost.
4.9.
4.4 gets 8.8, but you've got also another half from the 9. So it's 4.9, yes. So we find our spot and we measure it. Now what do I do?
You draw a line on the little line that you put on the line.
Jake?
You have to put a line up your ruler.
I'm sorry, I'm going to wait for people to be listening.
You have to line up your ruler to where like the zero hash thing is like straight to the ruler, and then you draw it.
That didn't work so well.
Wait, why aren't we recording?
So that if you have problems with the work, you will be able to go back and watch the video.